Okay, today's video we are going to talk about Chat CPT or an OpenAI and as that has to come to do with PPC campaigns. Can you actually use OpenAI and Chat CPT for making more money with your PPC campaign specifically? I'll cover that in detail. The short answer to that is of course yes, like the title indicates. There's a specific strategy I use to use Chat CPT, specifically the program, to gather keywords for PPC campaigns that are going to make the campaigns that much more profitable. Of course, you could probably make money with PPC, i.e. a ROI high enough to be acceptable and actually have profit left over after all your expenses running your company without Chat CPT, but this is about making more money, even more money than you are making now. If you're making no money, this could make you so you are starting to be profitable. If you're already making money, this can make more for you. So with that said, there are certainly some limitations to this. I see a lot of hype out there about this program, what it actually can do. There's a lot it can't do. And I don't see any videos about as it pertains to PPC. So as it does pertain to PPC, I am going to cover all the basic high points that you need to know. So that said, we'll get into the content. I have used Chat CPT. Excuse me. I have used Chat CPT specifically to make more money finding other keywords that I would only find if I were to use a lot of guessing or running ads first. So making money with PPC, a lot of it has to do with finding the right keywords. Okay, when you start out, what most people are going to do is they're going to use a small handful of keywords, what Google keyword or Google suggestion tool when you set up your campaign is going to suggest you by default. That in itself is a recipe to not make very much money with your Google ad campaigns. You want to go beyond work harder than the average person and go beyond what they're going to do to get higher than average returns. Given the average person either breaks even or makes no money with Google ads because that's how the system's inherently built. The top 10 or 20% make the money. You want to work harder than what the average person's going to do, which is set up their campaign, pick a few keywords, they're done. You're going to spend a couple hours or more doing keyword research and really finding the right proper list of not just a few keywords, but the extensive list of keywords that you want to target. And to get what they call long tail keywords, and so that you could target individual searches on an individual basis, like I do on all my campaigns here. So Google Keyword Tool is actually half the tool it used to be. Google Keyword Tool the tool that Google provides to find keywords for your campaigns actually doesn't show nearly the type of keywords that it did before. It shows a few keywords for most niches, and then it just cuts off. Whereas before it would show you it would be almost the only tool that you needed to find keywords for your niche, even if you were going to go to the extent that I'm recommending to you on this video that you should go to. The reason why I think Google's changed the Google Keyword Tool to not give you nearly as much keywords is, a couple different reasons. A, they don't want the people doing SEO to know what all the keywords to optimize for. That's number one. Two, though, the bigger reason is they don't actually want you to use more keywords. They want you to use less keywords. They want you, and this is clear by what they're saying, Google wants you to start using regular broad match keywords, which if you've watched my channel before, I tell you how that's complete hot garbage. You don't want to use broad match keywords. If you were struggling to get another sale, if you said, Corey, I got an 8-to-1 return out of my campaigns, it's great, I need more sales, I've tried everything to get more sales, I can't get any more sales. Then broad match keywords, basically not putting quotes or brackets around the keywords, can potentially be something that you could try. But almost none of you guys, I want to say 99.9% of you guys watching this video are not there. You can watch my other videos, make money, and because ultimately the broad match keywords obviously brings in a bunch of bullshit that you're paying for. People looking for information, and so on and so, pictures, videos, all this shit that isn't going to get you a sale. I mean, of course, it's going to get you a little bit of traffic that does turn into a sale more than you had before, but with 10 times more shit, at the same time coming in that you don't want. So with that, there's more effective ways to scale your profits than to use the broad match keyword match type. And so Google, of course, likes that because they, frankly, are going to make more money. You pay for more traffic. And the idea, though, behind the broad match keywords is eventually Google's algorithm is going to figure out what works and what doesn't. And that's true. After you spent like 50 grand worth of advertising spend to figure out what works and what doesn't. Do you want to be that person? Just throws $50,000 onto the fire and say, here you go, Google, figure it out for me. At the end of the day, I want my results, but as long as you give me a return after 50 grand and burning that 50 grand, I'll be happy with it. Most people don't want that. You're at the scale to do that. And even then, 50 grand is on the low side. You run a broad match keyword campaign and you'll see what I'm talking about. You want phrase match keywords, you want exact match keywords. If you have money to burn, you have no other way to spend it, then maybe you do broad match. But then, anyway, as it pertains to this, Google's keyword tool, if they show you less keywords, if you were to run those in less keywords in phrase and exact match, you would run out of spread, or the amount of people that you can get out of your available market pool, quicker. So they would encourage you to go to broad match quicker. So I see what Google's trying to do here. So, though, you don't have to play that game. You could just, because you're a person who isn't going to be the average typical lazy person who's going to try to make this work, you're going to go and you spend a few hours on your keyword research to get it right, and then you don't have to use broad match keywords. You could run everything in phrase match and exact match and not pay for all the junk you don't want. So the real money in Google Ads is, i.e., abnormally high ROI opportunities, are from the keywords or terms that are not showing up in Google Keyword Tool, okay? Because, again, they've cut it way down, and they've done that probably for the reasons that I mentioned there. So that said, while Google limits how many long-tail keywords, which are like, long-tail keywords being keywords where they're typing in like 4 or 5 or more words in the keyword phrase, will it limit the number of keywords like that you can actually see in the Google Keyword Tool? If you were to find all these so-called long-tail keywords where they're making very specific searches, so if you're for a plumbing service, it's how to hire plumbers in Denver. If that was your keyword you wanted to target and you were a plumber, if you were to target that keyword, the problem is, on the flip side there, Google is not going to let you bid on that keyword, because if you try to bid on that keyword, what's going to happen once you launch your campaign, under that keyword, under the keyword diagnosis section, it's going to say search volume too low, sorry, you can't bid on this term. And then you wasted your time basically, or you got excited for nothing at the very least, that you were going to bid on this term that nobody's bidding on presumably, and it's going to be it's cheap, presumably cheaper cost per click because it's off the beaten path. Or presumably you find a keyword like hire plumber right now. If you try to bid on that keyword, it probably would say search volume too low, even though you might get excited about that keyword, given that keyword's has a lot of what we call commercial intent to it, i.e., the person's very likely to actually hire somebody if they're searching for that versus plumbers, if you will. If they type in plumbers, they may be looking to hire a plumber. Maybe they're just looking at what the hell a plumber is. So in the game, always what you're playing is to, at least if you're playing the game smartly or smart, is to try to figure out how to target people who are less likely, or how can we get to what we're spending money on to be people that are actually going to buy, and then weeding out all of the other crap. That's the entire game that we're playing with Google search campaigns or PPC campaigns, Bing search campaigns if you want to add that in. So as you go after these long tail keywords, you can actually, because they're being more descriptive in what they're saying, I want to hire a plumber right now, you can tell more so what they want, and therefore if you target that term, they're more like the people that are clicking on your ad are more likely to buy. Therefore, you're going to make more money. Some people falsely, by the way, believe that if they have an ad that says plumbing services and their ad shows up for somebody looking how to hire a plumber, that's a good move because they're going to read the ad before they click on the ad, and therefore they wouldn't click on my ad if they weren't actually interested in a plumber, so they're going to self-select themselves out of the people searching for that. And I'm going to tell you, this is a common mistake people make. People are thinking when they search. They search and their brain is off. They're thinking about their mistress on the side, or the steak dinner they're going to have tonight, or their fight with their wife, or whatever. And they assume whatever they type in, the first listing is what Google has found is the best thing for them, whatever they're thinking. So a lot of times they won't even read the ad or the listing. They'll just click on the first thing. And so if your ad's there you just wasted your money. If ultimately, if that person's looking for, how to hire a plumber, not actually wanting to hire a plumber, if that makes sense. So you can't just run wild ads on Google search and then hope people read your ad, and because they read your ad and it said exactly what you're looking for a customer, that's going to work. You need to be able to get your ad in front of somebody who you already know is going to buy for you to make a good ROI. And then to get obviously from there, get your ad in front of every last person like that you can to maximize your profit out of your market. You can't have an ad that says, if you have $10,000 or more, click on this ad because we would like to work with you, because they're not going to read your ad at a high enough percentage to make a difference in the people that are going to click versus not click that ad, because people don't read half the shit that shows up on Google. They just click on it thinking Google's going to suggest to them the right thing. So anyway, with that kind of foundation there, you want to be able to go after as many keywords as you can that still get searched a reasonable amount of times, because Google will not let you bid on a keyword that gets rarely searched, like once every 3 months or something like that. So, and with that, you wouldn't want to target, 10,000 plus keywords anyway, because it would be a little bit harder to manage. Our goal for like a local search market, what I try to do for like a local search campaign, is to have 500 to 1,000 keywords. For a national service campaign, about the same. For an e-commerce campaign, it can run up into the thousands, certainly, but not tens of thousands, a few thousand keywords, so that we can get all these keywords that we already know that the person's already looking to buy, and get searched somewhat recently. And that's about the general universe of keywords on a niche like a micro niche basis that we typically end up bid on, that Google lets us bid on because it has enough regular searches, and which also then we're going to get the maximum results because we're targeting all the people that we know what they want already specifically. Now, because Google Keyword Tool will not give you the information you want, and other places, by the way, you can get keyword research done on what keywords to bid on is SpyFu, is SEMrush. You can go to those places and get keywords from your competitors as well, but if all your competitors are half-assing it, you're still in the same position. You don't really have many keywords to target. And of course, even if they target 10 keywords, what they show up for is actually going to get picked up by like SpyFu if you're using that. And so technically, you will find more keywords than what they're bidding on, if that makes sense, because it doesn't know their keywords they're bidding on. It only knows what they're showing up for. And you could use those other softwares to get you a little bit further, but it's still not going to get you nearly as far as I found. And also in spaces where there's not heavy competition. If you're in a space where there's not, in competitive spaces, there's 4 ads on the top of Google, but there's 10 people cycling in and out of those 4 spots. In those spaces, SpyFu, SEMrush is more helpful. If you're in a space where there's only like 2 or 3 main competitors, you may not even get help at all from that. So at that point, you can find all the keywords you want, or fill in the rest of the or get the rest of the keywords, or fill in the gaps on the rest of the keywords you need using Chat CPT, which, by the way, this software, it's a software that is it's like a search engine, but it uses information on the web to answer questions that you ask it. And it's a free software. You could type in, what's the best cat breed out there, and it'll give you an answer. It'll type out like a paragraph answer for you based upon information on the web, but it doesn't just scrape the information from the web like Google does. It actually uses AI systems to try to interpret how to display that information in a conversational tone. I don't know exactly all the machine learning processes that they have for this, but you'll find that it's like talking to a human, basically. One of the things that people have found out you could do with it easily is get keyword research done with it. And with it being free, and with Google Keyword Tool not being the tool it was, this is basically a great alternative, basically, okay? You shouldn't stop using Google Keyword Tool. That's your first stop still. But and past the SEMrush, SpyFu, this is your third stop that gets you the rest of the way with what these other tools can't do for you already. And so you could go in there and Chat CPT, you just type in, do keyword research for plumbing business, or do keyword research for sales training business, do keyword research for radiation blocking devices, if that's what you're selling, or whatever you're selling. And then it'll come back with a list of about 10 keywords. And then once you got those 10 keywords, you can hit the refresh button and it'll give you another 10 and another 10. And as long as you keep hitting that refresh button, they'll keep giving you new ideas. And how the hell they're getting these ideas, I don't know, exactly where they're getting them from per se, but because it's not just scraping from the web, like I said, it's coming up, it's using some sort of machine or AI process to get you information that you can't find on the web necessarily. And so it'll give you hundreds of different keywords that you could use for your campaign that are these longer keywords. That's not going to just be plumbing services, plumbing companies. No, it's going to be like where to hire a plumbing company, best plumbing companies to hire. And it'll give you really good these specific keyword searches that you actually want that you can't find with Google Keyword Tool, or you couldn't basically guess on your own, because obviously you could guess what the keywords are, and that's one method of coming up with your list of keywords that you would want to target with your PPC campaigns. So you use that Chat CPT tool, get whatever keywords you couldn't get with your other sources that you use to get keywords for your PPC campaigns. When you do that, you're still going to mix and match your keywords. So you'll find a bunch of keywords, and you'll find, the word best on the front of some keywords. So you could take that word best and put it on the front end of other keywords and get another keyword out of it, if you will. And that's what I call mixing and matching. And so from there, what I try to do is break down what are the main words in all the terms, and then mix and match it with all the others. And I use something called a permutation tool. If you type in online permutation tool, you can find all the different combinations. So if you find, that certain, or like if you're a local business, people are going to type in like plumbing services Denver. Well, people will use Denver a lot. I want to put Denver on the end of every keyword because that makes another keyword. Plumbing services Denver, plumbing company Denver. But if you put all the source individual words that make up your keywords that you found in this permutation tool, it'll give you all possible combinations of front and backwards, in the middle, all of it. And then what you ultimately can do, once you've gotten that list, that comprehensive list of, maybe it starts out with 10,000 combinations of mixing and matching of all the different words of the keywords you find, you can run a test campaign in Google search like I do, and then see what keywords are going to show up as low search volume, sorry you can't bid on it, and which one's not. And so out of a list of 10,000 keywords, you might end up with 700 where Google still says you can bid on those. And then now you've got a list of keywords that work really, really well that your competition isn't using, and which you now have an edge on your competition. And it's useful as each keyword you can decide if that keyword works or not. Do you want to bid on it or not? Once you start your campaign, you have more flexibility to get more out of your campaign, because certain keywords may not work that well and you can shut them off or turn them on, versus if you have a few keywords, you don't have the granularity and the ability. You could shut off certain keywords, but it shuts off potential from other phrases that your ad shows up for that also are covered by that same keyword, if that makes sense. So what I'll often do is just the 700 keywords, I'll run them all in an exact match. And then that way, I can find the 10 or 20% that are totally junk and just shut those off, and then the other 500 I got left. Versus if I have 10 keywords, ultimately, I might find that half of them don't work, and half my potential is gone. Versus if I just were more granular about what I was doing, targeted all the specific searches individually, I only have to cut out 10 or 20% of what I have that's not profitable. But going further than that, by the way, every single campaign I set up is using something called the SKAG model, where I'll write a unique ad for every single keyword. So when you have those 700 keywords that Google, through a test campaign that you set up, say that you have enough search volume on those keywords to bid on, write a specific ad, whereas the keyword that you're targeting with that ad goes in the first part of the headline. If you do that, your click-through rate's going to be 2 or 3 times as high as all the rest of the ads there on Google search for that keyword. And when you do that for all your keywords, now you have a massive competitive edge against all of your other competition in your area because you've done that. So you can be more granular about what you're doing, find out exactly what works and what doesn't work in your market by targeting each keyword individually versus 10 keywords that are supposed to run on like broad match that cover everything in your market. And then you can actually get more clicks out of each term that works individually by having a custom ad for each one on top of it. That's what I'm going to do on every single campaign I run for a client because it works extremely, extremely well. So you would just have a campaign where each keyword is in its own ad group, which allows you to have a unique ad then for each keyword ultimately or effectively, and you'll get really great results. But beyond that, the other part of having such granularity in your keyword research, why you want to do it, other than the things I said already, which is enough a reason already to do things the way that I just mentioned, you can also have keywords that have your buyers or commercials intent first. So the average person starting out doing like the Google ads for themselves, they don't have very much money. They're coming to the table. They're not, rich, if you will. They have some money. They start up their Google ad campaign. They spend 15 minutes setting it up, and then they're in and they're out. 90% of the people who start up Google ads, they're out within 6 months because they don't know what they're doing and it doesn't work because of that. And a big part of that is because ultimately they have like 10 keywords or 20 keywords that they target for everything, and they don't have the ability to see what worked and what didn't work. So they could cut out the part that didn't work and also hook up the tracking so they can also see that as well. But they start out targeting everything. Why the hell would you start targeting everything when you only have a limited amount of money that you have to get working before you run out of money to keep the whole thing going? Because ultimately you start with a pot of money, right? Like everybody else. I have 25 grand or I have 5 grand, whatever it is, that I have to spend, I can spend with these Google ads. And if I can get it paying for itself in terms of sales before I'm out of this money, then I could keep this going for years and it's going to make millions for me. That's the holy grail of what you're doing. This isn't like a one-time shot. Your goal is to get it to where it pays for itself so you can run it indefinitely in your market. And so if you're doing that, why the hell are you targeting everything universally? You know, even as not a non-advertising expert, that there's going to be certain things people search for in your market that are going to inherently be more profitable because it's obvious. If somebody's typing in plumbers near me, that keyword in itself, is going to be more profitable than somebody that types in plumber. So why the hell, if you got $5,000 you can spend before the ads have to start paying for themselves, are you targeting plumbers as a keyword versus keywords like plumbers near me, where the person who types in plumbers near me is probably 3 to 5 times more likely to buy something from you if they've clicked on your ad than plumbers itself. And the reason for that is, going back to what I was saying before, is people think, oh, it can show up for everybody, and if they're not interested in hiring me, they won't click on my ad because my ad says plumbers for hire, and that's not true. People will click on your ad anyway because they aren't thinking. They're not reading anything half the time when they make a Google search. Again, and to make money, you got to make sure you're only showing up for people that are mostly already ready to buy or very statistically likely ready to buy, where it's not arbitrary what they want, generally speaking, to make money a lot of times. In the plumbers market, though, the word plumbers probably will be profitable enough where you could show up on that keyword, but maybe it's not. If you're starting out with a little bit of money where it's got to work, what you do is you start out with the keywords that are most obvious to work first. And then you can start going and branching further and further out to the less and less, the more and more arbitrary terms where it's less evident what that person wants, and ultimately it's clear by the keyword like plumbers. There's a mixture of things that people type that keyword in actually want. Whereas plumbers near me, it's clear they only want one thing. So as it comes to these buyer and commercial intent keywords, you come up with that list of 700 keywords or whatever. You can start out with the 200 keywords or 100 keywords of that 700 list that are just all the commercial terms. Plumbing services, plumbing companies, plumbers for hire, plumbers near me, and on and on. Terms like that where it's 100% evident what the people want, and then just start advertising on those keywords by themselves. So if you're just targeting 5 or 10 keywords and that's it to get started with, right, you sort of kind of can do that, but it's hard. Even if you were to run all your keywords in exact match and only focused on those commercial terms, you wouldn't get very many clicks because you don't have all the variations of ways people are searching, because each, plumbing services by itself doesn't get very many clicks. But when you add up 100 or 200 of the total amount of ways that people search commercially or with buyer's intent like that, then you have something that is going to bring in a decent amount of clicks because you got all of them covered, so to say, if you get my point here. So anyway, as it comes to this Chat CPT, it's going to give you the inspiration, the source information of all the different keyword ideas that you want to target. And if you're starting from scratch here, the commercial keywords with commercial intent that are going to be able to get you up and going profitably, so that you have a long-term campaign that you're going to be able to run here. You're not going to run out of money, and you're just out of the game right away. So you can't afford to bid on arbitrary terms starting out your campaign. You need to start out with something that's going to be like a sniper rifle versus a shotgun. Target the best of the best of the best, most obvious keywords. Write unique ads for each one of them. So if they're looking for a plumbers for hire, your ad says plumbers for hire on it, and you don't mess around and make it very arbitrary as to whose ad they should click on, because you made it easier for them to click on your ad than the other ads on the top of Google. And you put on your landing page plumbers for hire as well to back that up even further. I won't go into all the details on campaign setup on this video. You can watch my other videos about how to set up a local campaign if you're interested, or a national service campaign or whatever. But you get the general idea here. The Chat CPT gives you the data about who's searching for what. So at the end of the day, you'll be able to be very strategic in who you target starting out. And if you are already and you're already making a decent amount of money, how you can go further by taking the 100 keywords you're targeting already and start targeting 700 keywords and writing unique ads for each keyword. Naturally though, I will say, if you are already advertising for like a year or more, you can go into your search terms report and see all the different ways people are searching, and you don't really need the Chat CPT tool anymore, because Google's going to give you all the ways people are searching, and you don't need a keyword tool anymore anyway. The Chat CPT tool is good for people starting out that don't have the search term data. So you can get keyword data by running your ads for a while, or if you want all that keyword data that you would have had to normally pay for, you use Chat CPT to get it, and you'll have it right from the start. I did some recent experiments with this just to see how good this actually is. We went into somebody's account, essentially. I won't explain who it was, but I looked through all the search terms report data that the client had in their account about what people are physically typing in. Because again, to make this clear, search terms are what people typed into Google before they clicked on your ad. Keywords are what you bid on. So anyway, I looked at the last year's worth of search terms data in this client's account and what keywords were there. And then I went into Chat CPT and did keyword research, and Chat CPT could find keywords that were in the search terms report that were not in the Google keyword tool, and found most of them. For the most part, Chat CPT is almost as good as just paying for the ads and let the search terms report tell you what keywords people are searching for specifically and what they're not, or what things people are searching for specifically and what they're not, to the point where it's basically just as good as spending money to find out what people are searching for and what they're not. And then you can go ahead, so again, before having to spend any money, you could set up a campaign targeting the specific things people are searching for one by one, so that you can just narrow out the stuff that people aren't clear of what they want when they're searching, and then can speak directly to them with custom ads for each one of those individual searchers and get much, much greater results that way than you would otherwise. The difference between targeting 10 or 20 keywords in your account, or let's say even 50 keywords, and not having custom ads for each keyword, and going ahead and using Chat CPT to find the 700 different terms that are, that you should be targeting in your space individually, or individual searches, and then writing custom ads for each one, is going to be 5 to 10 times more money in terms of the actual profit you're making, at least starting out. That's how much of a difference it's going to make. It's a night and day difference. It's a lot more work, but the reason why it works that well is because the user, when they have to decide what ad to click on the top of Google, there's 4 ads there, you've made your ad the obvious thing to click on. They're searching for plumbers for hire, and they see plumbers Scottsdale, and then we've been in plumbers since 1912 on another ad, and then another ad that says broken pipe repair Scottsdale. When you're half asleep or tired, you're just going to click on the ad that's the most obvious thing to click on, that says that you do what they came for. If you have an ad that says plumbers for hire, more than half of the time they're just going to click on your ad that says plumbers for hire. And that's kind of how basically what it is and how it is. But not only that, when you have a custom ad for every keyword like that, you can have a landing page where in the headline it says the keyword as well. So from the consumer's perspective here, for you to give them exactly what they searched for in the ad and then in the landing page, you've made it 10 times as easy for them to decide who to pick from. Of course they have to know you do it, and you cover their area, and they can trust you. You still got to get those other couple main points covered. But for the most part, if you have those other 2 points covered, you've basically got the business every time. So it's up to you whether or not you get the money or not. You go ahead and do all the work, you're going to get all the money. It's really that simple. And there's no reason why you don't or can't figure out how to write an ad for everything that people search for that's profitable in your market, because now Chat CPT for free tells you. All you got to do is go use the keyword and go get the data. So anyway, with all that said, that's pretty much how I use the Chat CPT tool, how it's used, where it's used, how I'm making more money from it. So as compared to before I found Chat CPT, we could only find so many keywords by guessing and using the Google keyword tool and so forth. Now that we have Chat CPT, we can find all the keywords that people are searching for in a new market without having to spend $50,000 on our ads first to get all that search term data. We can get it right before we start, so we're making a ton more money right at the beginning for our clients' accounts. And without, that money that normally comes in later on when we've spent that 50 grand on ads already and already have that list of search terms that we know, now we can target it on an individual basis and write custom ad copy and ads for each individual search that we didn't have targeted as keywords before. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. If you like this video, I have a ton of other videos like this on this channel, so you should subscribe. It's the best information you're going to find on YouTube about making money with PPC. And if you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up / like, get it out there for other people to see. I'd appreciate that a lot. Beyond that, if you have any questions about anything I covered today or anything else about PPC, really, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. I also have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog where we offer, it's a blog that I've personally written myself here, which has step-by-step information on how to build PPC campaigns like I talked about today, and that we're setting up for our clients to literally guarantee the results at our firm, because that's what we do at our firm. And so if you want to learn how to put campaigns together like I was talking about, and stuff that's on a more detailed basis, or on a more detailed basis than like what I talk about on this channel, you can find a great supplementary piece of advice and information about PPC to make money with PPC there as well. As the last thing I want to mention here is I have a brand new program at our PPC agency where we're offering turnkey PPC campaigns. And what that is we have about 6 basically markets where we've gotten multi-million-dollar a year results from in those markets. and they're either campaigns that were operating in one country but not another, or one geographic, one city but not another, or one state but not another. If you're looking to start a new business up in your area, you can actually copy and paste the results we got from one market in another area in your market by itself, and get the great results for yourself in your market, and already know what the results you're going to get before you even started a business up in that market. And the reason why we did this is pretty simple. Companies coming to us are struggling with their PPC. They have the capability to offer another service. We have a campaign that's already up and going, ready to, it is getting multi-million-dollar a year results in another market for a different service. They didn't want to hire us as a full-time PPC management firm, but they're paid to have our campaign templates for this other service. They copied and pasted it into their account. Now they're getting those results for themselves. So it's basically a shortcut way to get results for your market that even a PPC expert like myself couldn't get you unless they've optimized your campaigns for a while. So you're getting the iron, clad version of what already works for that market for yourself basically right away. And it's obviously cheaper than hiring a PPC expert because you have a one-time expense getting the campaign templates. Anyway, it's a great way to start a new business up. We've had people that start up a website, use our campaign templates for that website, outsource all the work to another party in that area, what city they're in, take 10 or 5 or 10% of the revenue for themselves as profit, and have an automated business already. If you're looking for an opportunity, just use our campaign templates that we already get results in your market. You have a business opportunity. You can also use e-commerce campaign templates that we use for a client in another geographic country or market, like a different country, in your country, and get the same results for something that you can equally get sourcing out of China. That's easy to get, that anybody can get. So anyway, if you're interested in that type of thing, reach out. We may also have the results already in your market already. So instead of having to listen to my videos here to learn how to do PPC right, just use the stuff we already used in your market that already works. Anyway, the only way to know if we have it or not is to reach out to our firm. So anyway, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you there. Okay? See you there.